First time my father was arrested was 14 years old for fishing right here on the Nisqually River. So I am the son of Willie Frank Jr., who spent his whole life fighting to protect this beautiful river here, fighting to protect our treaty rights, but fighting to protect the resources that we have here in the state of Washington. So this is my nephew Trey. So he's a fish and wildlife officer. He's gonna go down with us today. He's 22 years old and just graduated last year from the academy during COVID. He passed and certified law enforcement officer. Back in the 60s and 70s, it was unfortunate because what the state of Washington would do is they would close down the rivers and they would use the term conservation. And they would use that term so our native people couldn't exercise our treaty rights, and they weren't able to continue our way of life that has been passed down from generation to generation. And unfortunately for the state of Washington, the Nisqually River runs 80 miles from Mount Rainier all the way to the Puget Sound. And there was never any lines or boundaries about where we fished or where our usual and accustomed grounds were considered. Our rivers are dying, our oceans are dying, and our streams are running out of water. We have to be managers moving forward in 2021. We have to set an example. And just because, whether it's the state, federal, city, any kind of government, if they're not setting an example, then we need to. It's up to us as tribal leaders to hold the federal government and the state government, hold them, hold their feet to the fire and make sure that they are upholding our treaties. It's a little dicey right here, so hang on. Hang on. There we go. Right here, this is where I about killed myself a couple weeks ago. Wasn't a good, there's a log in the middle. We cut that one out. And this over here. So I found this when we moved out of our old house. I started going through my parents' old pictures and boxes that we have in the garage. And it took a while, it took a few years to do this. I started realizing and looking at pictures of, I think I was in Washington, D.C. at like 2 years old, like sitting with our future governor when he was a congressman. And my dad used to be back in Washington, D.C. so much as a kid that I knew the number by heart to where he used to stay at the hotel. I can remember sitting in thousands of meetings, wondering why I'm sitting here in this meeting at a young age, 10, 11, 8, 9 years old, wondering why I have to waste my time sitting here, but now I realize what they were trying to do. It wasn't a waste of time. It was showing me what it takes to, move forward and try to, bring the people together, but more importantly, find a common ground. We're not all gonna get along by any means, but we have to be able to show each other respect more than anything. Trey, are you stuck? Shit, okay. Well, we definitely don't want to go too far over there. There was times where we'd get stuck. I feel like he'd do it on purpose though, to just get us stuck and kind of slow down. I think moving forward, whatever happens in my current seat, and I've told people this 1,000 times, whether I'm the chairman or any other position, it's not gonna matter. I'm gonna be the same person. I'm gonna still have the same stories and try to educate people the same way. I know that I have a lot of different ideas and plans that, hopefully will bring our people together. And to have the opportunity, now to recognize my father with a statue in the state of Washington, this is what we want to be able to do, and is educate people about who we are, not just here at Nisqually, but everywhere. So good afternoon. We're here at Camp Sispis today, taking a look at the cedar trees here, the old growth cedar trees that we have, that Ed Archie Noisecat is going to use for the Willie Frank Jr. statue. We really want this to be something that we can share with our kids and our elders and non-native folks. Educational tool about carving, about who Willie Frank Jr. was, and why it's so important to do it the way we're doing with the old growth cedar trees. I want folks to, when they go back to Washington D.C. and they see that statue, they're gonna walk by and say, who in the hell is Willie Frank Jr. and why would he have a statue, in Statuary Hall in Washington D.C. And I want folks to be able to feel some of that Billy magic, people called it.
Cedar is a tree of life, so being here on this property here, man, means a lot, because this is kind of where our ancestors came, and I'm glad, I'm happy, and I get to be a part of it. Because we always talked about it. The statue being the first, I've always said that. He'll open that doorway for the rest of this to just fall into place. But yeah, I'm excited to get this moving forward, and then to kind of continue to just keep doing it and doing it. We got to utilize the wood now so we can gather some more.
I always tell people, it's going to take all of us who had a chance to feel that Billy magic and know what his vision was to continue the work and the legacy. Life's not easy. I don't think any of us can train for what is ahead of us in life, the good and the bad. And I think everybody's been through good and bad in their lifetime. And I think of my father many days when I'm frustrated or angry or just feel like we're going nowhere. I think, well, what if he would have quit? What if Martin Luther King Jr. quit? What if these folks who really committed their whole life to making this place better, what if they quit? And for me, my family, we're not a bunch of quitters. All right. May 5th was the day my dad passed away, actually, and so we're 2 days from that day, and this was the first year in my life since he's passed away in 7 years that I was not sad and angry and bitter about May 5th, and I think for him, he wouldn't want any of these honors, he wouldn't want these statues or this recognition. What he'd want us to do is protect this river right here. You protect what we have. At the end of the day, this is who we are. This river, this water, this natural resources, our culture and our way of life, that's who we are.